All right, fellas, here we're back on our Pokemon Legends ZA video. All right, for the Pokemon World Championship, at the very end, they revealed some more stuff for ZA, which is the multiplayer game mode. Okay, this is cool. Watch the latest ZA gameplay trailer for a peek at the ZA Battle Club's real-time link battles. In 4-player ranked battles, trainers around the world try to climb the ranks by defeating as many of each other's Pokemon as they can within a 3-minute time limit. You can also join up to 3 of your friends in private battles using local communications to the internet. Or the internet. Local communications to the internet. That's an oxymoron. Let's watch this, okay? I saw this. This looked very cool. I like the concept for it. Not sure how it's gonna be like, functionally, how it's gonna seem, but I like this.
Get ready for intense 4-player mayhem.
Sure.
In the ZA Battle Club. The time limit is 3 minutes. The trainer who defeats...
I like how they're doing that. I hope you can change the like setting, because just doing the same little battlefield I think is going to be a bit redundant after a while, but I do like the 3-minute timer just to defeat as many Pokemon as you can. That's interesting.
It's the most Pokemon will be the winner. The match has...
Cool. Okay, so it seems like I'm going to guess it's only 3 Pokemon you get to use, maybe? I'm not sure.
Begun. At the start of the match, you can play it safe, go on the offensive, or collect items to power up with. Who knows?
How do those power-ups work? Very curious.
Where things will stand in 3 minutes. Here, Talonflame...
Oh, that's cool. We get to see Substitute. Look how the Substitute gets thrown out by Simisear.
3 minutes.
How does that Substitute work? I'm very curious how Substitute works in this game.
Here, Talonflame takes aim and strikes with Brave Bird, but it's blocked by the Steadfast Shield of Protect.
Shield of Protect. Yeah, so it used Protect and block the move. See, this is the best thing about the PvP in this game, or at least any sort of like major battling. You're gonna have to strategize. Like, there is legitimate usage for probably a ton of moves in this game. You know, that's very interesting. It's gonna legitimately be very competitive. I'm wondering how they're gonna do extra like competitive stuff in this game, whether it be like Pokemon like Worlds, maybe will they do ZA battles? I'm curious.
Counters with Waterfall. It's super effective. Talonflame goes down.
Okay, that's a point.
The trainer who defeated it earns 1 point. But there's no time to relax.
Mega Ampharos.
Mega evolves and immediately fires off Thunderbolt.
That. How do you protect against that? Look how the range was that. Gyarados was moving. Ampharos was all the way over here. How do you protect against that Thunderbolt? Full HP. Instantly. Look at that. Instant KO. How do you protect against that?
Thunderbolt. A mighty hit. Gyarados has fainted. When you're
wow.
faints, you can still rally and...
So, do you get a timer for staying out? Yeah. You're in a time limit to stay out. So I guess your Pokemon can probably end up coming back. Yeah, Talonflame is still back, as you can see that. So it doesn't seem like you lose your Pokemon if they get KO'd or anything. It's just you have to like wait it out. So I guess you have to swap out your Pokemon. But is there like a limit on how much you can swap out your Pokemon? Is there like a time limit, right? Because otherwise, can't you just swap infinitely and not lose any points?
These trainers are back on their feet. They decide to switch out their Pokemon. 1.5 minutes left. We're halfway through. Mega Ampharos's battle with Go-Go is heating up. Whoa,
that's pretty cool. Wow, Furfrou came in for the double KO, so those ranged moves can actually be extremely effective there.
Both weekend battlers go down. That's 2 points at once. The trainer
wow.
chooses Pokemon again and presses on. 10 seconds left on the clock. And this trainer's full up on Mega Power. Dragonite Mega evolves. And it unleashes a raging Draco Meteor!
A Draco Meteor that knocks out every single enemy. 3? Oh my goodness. So there's a big way to play this. You can go for those high-powered... There's those high-powered single-target attacks like Thunderbolt and stuff that Ampharos just walloped Gyarados with, right? There's the big spread moves like Draco Meteor that probably has its own repercussions to being used, right? It's probably going to debuff special attack or, maybe have a super long recharge time, but it's clearly very, very worth it, right? Then there's like Gyarados with its Protect. There was Substitute with that Simisear earlier in the battle, right? There are so many ways it seems like you can play this game, at least competitively. Obviously, there's going to be better strategies, better Pokemon to bring. Like, there's going to be a meta. I mean, that's just how competitive works in literally anything. But the different strategies that's going to be tried out, at least in the first few weeks of the game, is going to be so interesting.
matchup set in the final 10 seconds.
3
Dragon Knight's
points.
trainer takes a clear victory. These furious 4-player battles await you. in
And look at all the
Legends.
Pokemon there. Mega Mawile, Pinsir, Tyranitar, and Kangaskhan.
Available to pre-order now.
Available on pre-order, official release, all that. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting way that they announced this. Let's see, what was the... That's Champions. Oh, it was right here. Yeah, okay. And then this. You'll face off in a whole new way to battle in the upcoming Legends ZA and Switch 2 edition. In the Battle Club, up to 4 players can link battle to defeat as many Pokemon as they can within a strict 3-minute time limit. During these matches, use a variety of moves and Mega Evolutions, so don't hesitate to go on the offensive. So it seems like Mega Pokemon obviously are going to have a huge advantage here, but it doesn't seem like they're going to have an advantage of the traditional sense of being used. But you can also bring other Pokemon and switch into your Mega Pokemon, right? I'm very curious how that switch out's going to work, though. Like, if you switch, can you switch out of a Pokemon? Looking at this image, it doesn't look like it. Look at this. Can you swap out a Talonflame? No, that's the one. That just means it's out. So how can you swap out? Can you swap out mid-battle? And if you can, what's the restrictions on that? Because if you can just infinitely swap out, you know, that's not really that big of a deal. You're not really going to lose a lot of points that way. From there, they send out Pokemon from their team to enter the fray. If your Pokemon faints, they'll return to your starting point and re-enter the battle with all your Pokemon fully recovered. Defeating an opponent's Pokemon earns you a point, and these points determine your ranking. Okay. Position at different points, they'll send out Pokemon from the... Yeah, okay. In ZA, Pokemon and trainers move around together while unleashing moves in real-time battles. This method of battling also applies to ZA's Battle Club Link battles. Moves have a wide range of effects, like launching attacks at fixed radius to deal damage to multiple enemies, target distant Pokemon by attacking in a straight line, and more. Use a variety of moves to gain the advantage in the competition. Don't forget to collect Mega Orbs that appear, and during battle, you'll need these to Mega Evolve. You'll also be able to find items that temporarily boost stats. So that could be some very strong stuff to change the tide of battle. You'll be able to take it on through local communications or the internet. Test skills against trainers around the world in ranked battles. During these battle matches, you'll earn points based on your place in these 4-player battles, along with your points depending on your performance. Earn enough points and your rank will rise. Everyone starts at Z, and you can get all the way up to A. In private battles, and put a link code, you know, all that stuff. It does seem like there is a completely separate ranking as well, so you can get up to potentially A rank. And in that same way, I do wonder, is there gonna be official competitive battles for this, maybe like at Worlds or something? I think that'd be very interesting, and I think this method of playing the game would be great if they incorporate DLC or some sort of large Pokedex in ZA. I'm very curious if they end up doing that, because like I don't think they've revealed too many Pokemon for the game. Like they've revealed, you know, probably 100 or so, maybe 150. I'm not quite sure, but you know, not a crazy amount. Like Legends Arceus had like 230, 240 something. I think it was 240 Pokemon, I believe. ZA, I think, would be a great game to round off at like 300 or something like that. And then, you know, a DLC introducing another 100 or 200. Bringing in a lot of Pokemon in this game could make a lot of the competitiveness extremely fun. Especially if stat distributions and stuff like that are, you know, different compared to the main series. Where, like, you know, Mega Salamence with 600 plus base stat totals and stuff like that. 700, 600, I think. Yeah, 600. Plus base stat totals, you know, isn't completely decimating the competition. Compared to like a Furfrou, which can barely do any damage. I mean, they used a Furfrou here, but that doesn't mean that it's good, right? So I'm extremely curious how Legends ZA is going to handle like the strength of its Pokemon, how all the different moves and abilities are going to be effective. Again, like how much is something like Will-O-Wisp or Thunderwave going to extremely impact a battle? Like if your Pokemon gets Thunderwave, are they just fodder because they can barely move? You know, if a Pokemon gets poisoned and they have to stay out in the battle, they're going to slowly whittle down and die. Again, Substitute, is a Pokemon forced to attack a Substitute, or can they attack around a Substitute, right? So how good is Substitute going to be? Protect seemed really good as well. That Draco Meteor was actually insane for an AoE damaging move. How good could something like Hyper Beam be? Could it hit through multiple enemies simultaneously, right? Obviously, it's going to be extremely strong. And then Mega Pokemon, how much of an advantage are they going to have over regular Pokemon? And what is the... Is there really going to be any major usage for running a Pokemon that's not a Mega Pokemon, you know, if it has super good utility and stuff like that? Is there going to be some big value there, or is it going to be just better to run a lot of Mega Pokemon that can all Mega Evolve in a diverse, you know, amount of situations or something like that, right? There's a lot to consider. There's really a lot to consider. Also, how these items going to come into play. How much do they change the tide of battle, right? I'm going to guess that it's just buffing core stats like attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. But maybe there's more to them. I guess we'll have to see, right? Maybe dodge chance, evasion, but I think evasion is just kind of moving around, so I don't know if that really counts as the same thing. Anyway, I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts, though. Very, very curious to see what they end up actually doing with this. It seems like this could be fun. This seems to be their big way to do multiplayer, at least multiplayer PvP. So let's see if they maybe introduce some other methods of PvP, or if this is going to be the only one. I don't think it's a bad thing if it is, but I would like to see some more options. So let's see what they do. Let's see what they do. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I'll see you later. I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.